No, that wasn't like some kind of, like crafty like entrance or anything. I had remembered at the last moment that I needed to cut on the light behind me to help with the lighting. So that's it. I was just hopping and hitting the light switch. Anyways, hey y'all, it is 5:30 and I don't know if this is the best or whatever. Lighting, again, I've said in the past, this is what you get because we bought a place that has beige everywhere, so lighting is hard to find. But this evening, since we needed a lot of water and fun stuff like that, I couldn't necessarily do it over on our kitchen table. So, unfortunately, there is a shelf cabinet right there. So I kind of had to point, the camera downward a bit. Anyways, hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. It's halfway through July. It's just nuts to me. We are halfway through the year. Like in 6 months, we're gonna be getting ready for Christmas. You ready? Me neither. I hope you guys had a great weekend. This weekend we hosted a little game night, and those are always fun. It doesn't matter what game you play. They always seem to be fun because, well, that's what you do, is you make fun. Anyways, we bought this game at Target the other day. It was on clearance for like 15 bucks. The game of Nasty Things. And it was hilarious. We had 6 people here. Everybody gets a little paper that tears off into strips or whatever. So you write a response onto this and then you put it in the middle, and whoever is reading the question has to guess who said the answers. So some of the things that were said, questions, things you wouldn't do on a first date, things you do when no one else is home, things that would embarrass Howard Stern, or things Snow White nicknamed her favorite dwarf. It was a fun game because there were tons of cuckoo crazy responses, and sitting here trying to decide who said what was quite hilarious. So anyways, before we get started this evening, I hope you guys take a moment and like the page, share the page, and again, go up there to notifications and click to be notified when the page goes live. That way so you can join us this evening. And then when you do participate or when you join in, please say a hello or something. It's that simple. I want to see who's joining me. My husband, who works for a TV station and does these Facebook Lives all the time, is just now starting to realize that the little live counter at the top is not correct. So like right now, it's telling me there's only one person joining. But this weekend there was major breaking news and they had some 35,000 views, and it said that there were only like 115 people on at the time. So something's not quite going there. Anyways, so before we get started, tonight is a Red Apple Martini. Last week I somehow, I guess, skipped a week in my head. I don't know, and I said it was the Bikini Martini. Somehow I completely missed over this week. It is the Red Apple Martini. Next week is the Bikini Martini. This week for the Red Apple Martini, you need apple schnapps, whiskey, and cranberry juice. Equal parts of each. I have a shaker with ice. And so all you're doing is mixing equal parts. And again, I know that most martinis are gin based. I can't get into gin. I can't. It's weird. It's, I was given a bottle several years ago from a friend of ours that is actually very knowledgeable in his booze, and he gave me a really good bottle of gin. I tasted it, couldn't do it. I tried mixing it with stuff, couldn't do it. I made martinis with it. I did everything I could with it. I am not a gin fan. I don't know how people do it. Maybe it was the wrong brand, but from what I gathered, it's a pretty big brand. So either way, I'm not a gin fan. So anyways, equal parts in each, of each. Pour, and you have a Red Apple Martini. Just like that. Yep, super yummy. Of course, you can add more apple, more cranberry, whatever to your liking. They are all, options are endless when it comes to making martinis. Okay, tonight we are talking about sensory bottles. When I was a pre-K teacher, we went for NACCE accreditation, but one of the things, it's Montessori, it's NACCE, it's NAC, there are all these different organizations and different requirements that a child care center should have. And one of the things in their science center is to do discovery bottles, sensory bottles. And again, the options are endless with these things. You can do anything. You can mix anything. We got so creative. Some did not work at all. Some were incredible. But what I've learned, or what I learned about halfway through my years teaching young children, is that while I put the sensory bottles in my classroom for science, discovery, investigation, for them to play, a lot of them were wonderful for when your children were too excited, they were anxious, they were overwhelmed, they were overstimulated. If I had a child that just needed a moment to themselves, we didn't do timeout, we didn't say timeout. Timeout, in all honesty, is kind of a negative label for it. Because you need a moment to express your feelings. You need a moment to release what is built up in your body. So when you say time out and we push you off to the side, that's telling you that your feelings aren't important. So in those moments when I had a child that just seriously needed some downtime, needed a moment to sit down, take a deep breath and regroup, or needed just a moment to regulate those emotions, I learned very quickly that some of these sensory bottles, if I gave it to them, it helps calm them down. It brought peace. It, put their attention onto something else. That way so they could cool down, they could calm down, and they could join us again without distress. And it was something that they were able to do themselves. In fact, funny story, I had a child that, she was hitting, kicking, pushing, everything. She was just in a rare state that day. And I'm like, here, you need a moment to yourself. And she yelled, I don't want to play with glitter. So when you sit here and you're thinking, outside my classroom, other parents, other teachers, my boss is sitting here hearing a child cry and yell, I don't want to play with glitter. It's kind of funny, but to the child, they were definitely expressing how they felt. They didn't want to play with glitter because guess what? They saw this bottle. I went, I grabbed it. I shook it up. I said, here, come over here. In this, I had a great big carpet with a great big mat with pillows. I said, come over here, take a moment to think about, why you're upset, and in a couple minutes, we'll talk about it. I don't want to play with glitter. I don't want to do that. And I mean, literally, when I handed them the bottle, they were throwing it, rolling it across the carpet. They don't have anything to do with it. But after about a minute or so, they're sitting there and they're staring at it. They're rolling it, they're turning it on the carpet, rolling it. After a couple minutes, it's just sitting there on the carpet, and this little girl, she was laying down, just sitting there just watching it. I asked her if she was ready to, talk about, the problems that she was having. Yes, we went into it. Guess what? Less than 5 minutes, and she's back and playing with the group like there's no problem. So, that's the reason why I chose to do the sensory bottles thing this evening, is because while they are great for science, discovery, investigation, helps children with fine and large motor skills. Yes, they're sitting here looking, but to shake it, large motor skills, a lot of children don't get that nowadays. They need to get up and moving. They need to get out. Many times you get stuck inside for days when it's raining. Using those motor skills are necessary for growth. This is the opportunity for you as a parent or a teacher to discuss colors, shapes, mixing different substances, weight, size, cause and effect. What happens when I take this bottle with water and oil and shake it up? What happens? Why is it happening? And it is all an educational experience that these children need. And little do they know, they're learning, they're experiencing all this different, stuff that is so beneficial to the rest of their life. I'm sitting here looking at my notes because there was literally a ton of things that I wanted to say. So even if you don't have children, I don't have children. But when you're sitting here and you're making these things, guess what? It's relaxing to a child, but imagine yourself at work pulling your hair out because the phones don't stop ringing, your boss is hanging over your head, your coworker is smacking their gum or has the loudest perfume on, whatever. To me, in all honesty, this bottle, I could sit here and watch it myself. And it is very soothing, very relaxing. It's mesmerizing. And this is, we're doing it for children, but you can do it for yourselves too. So, now, to get started. Okay, the first one we are going to make is extremely simple. And I see a few more of you guys logging on or joining us. So, say hello. Hi, whatevers. All right. So most of these items seriously are from the dollar store, Dollar Tree, dollar store, whatever you want to call it. I spent maybe $5 for all this stuff. Choosing a good bottle, I went with smart bottles, smart water bottles, just because it's thicker plastic. There's no ripples, there's no edging, none of that. It's clear, so you're able to see what's going on inside. These bottles are Walmart brand sparkling water of some kind. It was like a 4-pack for $1, but either way, super durable. And that's the thing is, when you are making these things, you don't want cheap plastic because you have a child that is throwing this stuff around. The minute that it cracks, guess what? The contents are coming out. So, first one we're going to do is a sand search bottle. And while this is good for the classroom, these are wonderful for parents going on a road trip. If you are going to a restaurant, yes, it could be heavier, but to keep in your purse, just in case for some reason you guys are at the park and your child is having a moment, pull it out and you have something to occupy them, educate them, interest them. So I have a bottle. I took a funnel. You probably don't need a funnel, but I took one from, again, dollar store, 3-pack for $1. And guess what? Salt. Now this is a sand search bottle. Yes, I could have bought sand, but why, when I went to the dollar store and bought one thing of salt for 50 cents? Everything at the dollar store isn't $1. Some is 50 cents. Anyways, sit there and pour your salt into the bottle. But don't do it all the way. That is creating a whole lot more smoke than I thought. Don't do it all the way. Put some of the salt in and then drop some of your items in. And I just picked random things. I have a rock. I found a pack of buttons, an eraser, a paper clip, a small tiny clothespin, a tiny key. I mean, just a little fishing bobber. Okay, so put about a couple of your things in. Pour some more salt in there. And fill it up a little bit more. And then, again, drop a few more. I put the letter S in there. I have a jewel. And I have to tell you, I did put a black trash bag. I like to go to the Dollar Tree and get bags, or a pack of trash bags. You can get like an 8-pack for like $1 or whatever. I use it all the time for if I'm painting, if I am doing anything, hot gluing anything, and those little strings get all over the place. I have a black trash bag here on the on my counter, because I knew tonight would probably be kind of messy. All right, so what I've done is I have filled the thing completely with salt, and all those items are in there. Now, give it a good shake. Now, they're all hidden in there. What I've done is I took a picture of all of the items that are in there, and you could, if you wanted, take a picture, tape it to the side, and that tells, and tape it, completely, tells your child what's in there. And you can sit here and you can let them do it on their own, or you can say, hey, find the key. And your child has to sit there and move it around until they get the key to where they can see it. Now, if you have an older child that, that might be too easy, draw yourself a little square on the other side, and they have to get the key into that square. So it's a little bit more difficult for them. Keeps them entertained, keeps them amused, and again, a couple of bucks spent. So sand, like I said, I use 50 cents, because in all honesty, if you've gone to Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart, and looked at a bag of sand, first of all, you can't buy a small bag of sand. You have to buy a large bag that is meant to go like into sand boxes. So go to Dollar Tree, get you a canister of sand for 50 cents. Make yourself a search bottle. Tape it on the side. Your kids know what to search for. All right, next one. I have already filled it with water. Now, in all honesty, I don't know if this one will work as well, because I did not test this one out prior. But this one, again, is super simple. The majority of people I know have paper clips just laying around. I have a bottle full of just plain tap water. Not hot, not cold, none of that. Drop you a bunch of paper clips. Now, what's cool about this is you can do paper clips, but you can do magnetic and non-magnetic things. I had one of those in my classroom for the longest. Put a coin, put a little pom-pom, put a button, put a paper clip, whatever. Things that were magnetic and not magnetic. And then all I did was took a popsicle stick and put a magnet on the other side. Now where this might fail is I didn't get a big enough magnet. But anyways, you put the magnet on, yep, as I thought. I didn't get a big enough magnet. Or, anyways, it does work, I promise you. I had it in my room for the longest. Get a big enough magnet and it does pick up the paper clips. So, sorry y'all. But I don't think I have a big enough magnet. It's a little thin, round one. We had those big magnet ones. They were about that long and about that much of it was magnet on the end. Super strong magnets. And we could put it on there and it would pick the magnets up. So I apologize. Like I said, I expected it to somewhat fail. Hi, I see more people logging or joining in. So, hello. All right, the next one is a super basic. When you sit here and you think about science and mixing things, oil and water. The most basic, the most general, common, but guess what? When you are 2, 3, 4 years old, it is not basic, it's not general, it is brand new. You can blow their minds. And seriously, when I was a pre-K teacher, that was my favorite thing, was blowing their minds with the most general and basic information. They went home, they told their parents came in the next day saying how excited they were. So I took a water bottle, or I took a bottle, halfway or so with water. You don't have to do this part if you don't, or wait, hold, this first. Take a tiny bit of food coloring. I just do like 2 drops, only because I don't like my water to be super dark, because then it kind of makes everything else look kind of cloudy or whatever. I put 2 drops in there, pretty green water, and then take you, again, dollar store items, and just put a bunch in there. Now, you don't have to do this at all. I personally like doing this because it is it's a sound thing for the children. It is it helps, again, for an opportunity for you to explain the weight, the sound, texture, whatever. And then I like to use baby oil. Baby oil is white, or not white, it's clear. So if you were to use olive oil, that olive oil kind of mixes with the green, so you get like this yellow green weird looking thing. So pour in your baby oil, and that's why I put the black trash bag thingy down, because I wasn't necessarily watching what I was doing and it went everywhere as expected. So, okay, you have now put, and I know some of you guys are sitting there and just laughing. You have got your oil on the top, beads in the middle, and the water on the bottom. Shake it up. Of course, I got oil all over the bottle. And it mixes up, and the food coloring does not mix with everything. And the beads help keep it separate. It's a fun oil and water Science project. Okay, give me a second because I was not planning that thoroughly. And this is why we do this at the kitchen counter as opposed to the kitchen table. Because it is a whole lot easier for me to throw some paper on the counter. All right, the last one is probably my favorite. Empty bottle. You are going to need warm water. I took a kettle and I boiled this earlier, and in all honesty, it may still be too hot. It is still very warm, even though I boiled it an hour ago. You are going to take here is my hot water. Hello, I see more people have joined us. Say hello, let me know you're here. Bottle of glitter glue. Now, from my experience, I have bought the dollar store glitter glue. It did not work in this case. I have bought the cheapest glitter glue. It didn't work in this case. But you can go to Hobby Lobby and you can get bottles of glitter glue for like $2 or so. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take warm or hot water and you are going to put your glitter glue in there. Because ideally, guess what? You want to break all that glitter glue up. See, it's coming off like in sections. It's not that attractive. It looks like a bunch of worms or something. I am keeping it real with the mess because guess what? When you're teaching pre-K, it happens. Have a whisk. You are going to sit there and you are going to whisk the mess out of that glitter glue and that warm water. You are going to do everything you can to turn that water into red glitter glue water. And then you are going to take ultra fine, and seriously, I did not realize at the time that there was different grades of glitter. I thought glitter was glitter. Then I learned that glitter came in just regular glitter, fine, super fine. Super fine, guess what? If you already didn't care for glitter, you don't want super fine because this super fine mess is not coming from, if you drop it, it's not coming up from anywhere. All right, so you're gonna whisk all that together. You're gonna take that, actually no, first what I'm going to do, just because I think this will be the best option. Okay, so bottle, and if it is too warm, it is going to melt your bottle. I should have used my funnel. It is going to change your the shape of your bottle if you put it in there when it's too warm. Let it all go in there, and you can see it quickly going to the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that ultra fine glitter. I'm actually going to pour a tiny bit of the water out. That way so I have enough space to pour all that in. And then if need be, guess what? You can put in a tiny bit more water. It is not. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take clear tacky glue. And you don't have to use this. You don't have to use this. But what this does is it slows it down. So you've got your bottle. You're going to give it a really good shake, and you're going to see how long it takes for the glitter to settle. It's all swirly and happy and pretty. Now, ideally, when you give children a moment to decompress and relax, it's about 5 minutes, 1 minute per age. You got a 3-year-old, you want 3 minutes. If you got a 5-year-old, 5 minutes. So you add as much tacky glue, clear tacky glue, as it would take. See, it settled really quickly, or it started to settle really quickly. So when you add the tacky glue, what it does is it slows it down. So if you time it correctly, you can make it last about, that is the wrong lid. You can make it last about 5 minutes. And I have glue flying all over the place. So the more tacky glue you add, slows down the mixture. And again, at the beginning when I talked about the child that didn't want to play with glitter, she hated this thing. But every single time she got it, guess what? She calmed down. She was able to join the group within 3 or 4 minutes. This completely calmed her down. And I mean, in all honesty, if you're an adult and you're watching that, how can you not calm down either? Now, as a teacher, I will recommend, I have glitter all over the place. I have glue all over the place, so I am very mindful at the moment. Take some super glue. Again, you can get it at the Dollar Tree. Super glue, and put some super glue on the inside of your lid and then screw it on. Don't use a hot glue gun. Every time I've used a hot glue gun, after a week or 2 weeks, the hot glue has loosened and the lid has come off. So if I were you, super glue. Again, these are wonderful options if you are going on a road trip, if you are going to a restaurant, anywhere that your child may have a meltdown. It is so easy to pull these things out and give it to your child, and they are easily amused, entertained, they're relaxed. You don't have any cuckoo craziness going on. And see, I put more tacky glue in there, so it is taking a little bit longer for it to settle. So you can time it. Like I said, ideally, the time for them to calm down is 1 minute per age. If they're 3, they need about 3 minutes. If they're 4, they need about 4 minutes. You can sit there and you can time it to what where it settles, and it will completely settle to where you have glitter across the bottom and then clear water. It is super cool. So with all that being said, I showed you 4 sensory bottles this evening. There are loads more. If you do a Pinterest search for sensory bottles, you can find tons of options. I've done it to where I did stars and glitter and black food dye, and it was a starry night for our earth unit. Like I said, put different magnetic objects in one. You could do just pom-poms, buttons. There are so many options. You have tons of stuff in your house that you can use to make these sensory bottles. Most of the time you don't even have to go out to do it. Like I said, I spent maybe $5 for pulling all this together to make these this evening. And the money that I did spend was all from just the dollar store. So get creative, have your kids help you. Again, this is all about the children, so get them to participate. When they participate, they're more interested. If you just pull it out of your hat, guess what? Mom's got a new game. They'll be interested for a minute and they're done. But if they help participate, guess what? You probably have more time with it. Sand search bottle, paper clips, water, magnet, oil and water, and glitter and, well, glitter glue and water. Next week, last week I said it, that we were doing the bikini martini. Next week we are doing the bikini martini and a super quick lasagna. When we lived in Alabama, we did a lot of freezer meals. We did a ton of freezer meals. We were able to cook for the entire month on one night. It took us like 4 hours to do the entire night of meals. And this was one of our favorite. It was a super quick lasagna. And what's nice is you don't have to do all the whole boiling of the noodles and all that stuff beforehand. Super quick lasagna. And I say lasagna, like anytime I say lasagna, it needs to be like in this because it's not your typical lasagna. In fact, a lot of people call it the poor man's lasagna. I don't like that because, again, poor is kind of like a negative label. So either way, next week is a super quick lasagna, and then we will go into August. Can you believe it? Next week is our last week in July. Yeah. So, now that I have created quite the mess with baby oil and glitter and water and everything all over the place, I have to now go and clean it all up because I have to start the dinner for the husband to come home, and that's all we need is glitter all over the place. I hate glitter. I try not to use it, but I did it for y'all because I love y'all. Again, like, follow, share the page, set your notifications to be notified when we go live. And that's it. I will see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.